Hey there everybody, and welcome back to more Silent Hill 4. Well, last time you may recall, we nearly avoided getting killed by Smokey the Bear while putting together a burnt doll. And, well, where are we today? This certainly doesn't look familiar, but, well, no other place to go. Let's head inside this shaft. Well, I guess from that aerial view, we are back in the water prison. I wonder what has changed since we last left. Let's go have a look and see. Nothing too new. Oh shit, run! Eileen? Come on, Eileen. Jesus. Yeah, Walter is still a thorn in our side. Thankfully, he has dumped one of his, he dumped his chainsaw to dual-wield pistols, which means, well, he won't be meleeing us, but he will be shooting us a lot more. So, let's try to avoid him, and let's just dump Eileen. Yeah, there is, well, one or two ways you can kind of make your way along the outside of the water prison here, and this is kind of the easier way. The one thing to keep in mind is the fact that Walter is somewhere out here along the edge as well, and he's kind of a pain in the ass when you also have to slowly make your way with Eileen, but there you go. She's like a boomerang. But without any clear direction as to where we are supposed to go, I guess we really have no other choice than to, well, just start exploring around. And it is a good idea to make sure and check around, and I'm sorry about that, Eileen. Yeah, it's a good idea to check around any of these rooms.
It's so damp and gross here.
That is true, but yeah, we can find quite a few assortment of very nice items, and plenty of these bastards to deal with. I guess it's a little bit easier than dealing with the dogs, but well, as we'll see later on, they can be quite a handful in these tight, confined spaces. Especially with the angle that these hallways are at, you can easily be taken by surprise while you're trying to take care of one. Another is easily waiting around the corner for you. And rather oddly enough, we can't even investigate these books. I assume they might be order scriptures or something like that, but I guess it's of little matter to Henry and Eileen as we, well, still try to figure out what it is we're supposed to be doing here. Ah, very nice. Another holy candle. Can never have too many of those. But it is time to actually reveal I know where we're going. And where we're going is actually all the way back down to the basement to the torture room. Thankfully, Eileen doesn't decide to join us on our multi-floor jumping expedition. And additional thanks to the fact that, well, there's really not that much in the way of new enemies down here, just a bunch of these white toadstools. But in the torture room we do find a new shirt. Sadly, it is not an alternate outfit for Henry. He actually has no alternate outfits in the game. But what it is well, something written on it. And there's a rather odd clue in the item description saying maybe we should dip it in some colored water. As to how Henry would put those thoughts together, I don't know. He's fucking psychic. After chopping down those toadstools, we find a rather hard to see saint medallion. And you can also see a health drink there. The game really is nice in the fact that they actually do give you quite a few health drinks. But there is actually an item on the 3rd floor of the observation tube. So we're just gonna take care of some white toadstools and pop our way on up there. And what do we have but another new weapon for Eileen? It's not really a leather sap. I'm not even sure what a leather sap is. Maybe like a blackjack? Yeah, the nightstick is actually, well, Eileen's final and most powerful weapon that she can get. Kind of short range. It's not as good in comparison to the chain or even the riding crop, but it does do a fair amount of damage. And just more handgun bullets in the shower room. Actually, probably not going to be picking up any more handgun bullets because the handgun is awful. But with our brand new shirt, I think we should actually head back to the apartment so we can figure out a solution to our puzzle. Actually though, looking at our available slots, I think we should actually go ahead and explore the 1st floor and get a few items waiting for us there. And this holy candle will be the last useful thing on this floor. I think there are a few more Hummers, or maybe a twin victim hiding somewhere on the end of the passage, but honestly, I don't even want to deal with them anymore. Instead, let's go dump off our load and see what we can do with this shirt. And it doesn't appear like we have any hauntings waiting for us in the bedroom, which is good. Everything seems pretty quiet. Actually, something I haven't actually shown off yet is, well, if you're unsure if the place is haunted currently, we can actually turn on the radio. And if it's silent, then that means there's no ghosts. Now, if they're static, that means you get to start looking around. But, got another note waiting for us. Let's see what helpful information Joe has waiting for us. Sadly, it's not really too much new information. It's just more about Walter Sullivan. We already know, he was born in room 302. And apparently he was sent to St. Jerome's Hospital, which was also where Eileen was sent. And I assume adopted means kidnapped, but we're not actually sure why they kidnapped Walter specifically. And this is the rather new and strange part in the fact that this is the first time they mention that Walter seems to think that the room is actually his mother. Bit of an odd way of thinking, but I guess when they told whomever told him where he came from, they just kind of pointed to the room. His childlike mind naturally assumed, well, if that's where I came from, then that has to be my mother. I guess it makes some sense. But, yep, we have a full inventory. Need to just dump off what we don't need. But we actually do need to pick up some very special items before we leave, because we have something special waiting for us. First thing, we're going to want one of our 2 silver bullets. And we're going to want something to propel said bullet. And then, we're actually going to want to head back to the bathroom, and, well, if you remember, we actually do have a bathtub full of colored liquid. Yeah, this mysterious blood actually serves a purpose. We can actually dip the shirt into it. And white letters start to rise to the top of the shirt. These are actually, well, semi-helpful instructions to tell us what we need to do to finish up the water prison. Mentions a hidden sword in a room on the 2nd floor, and it mentions that a fat guy has the key to the basement. Well, we already saw what happened to the fat gentleman we met in the water prison before. And, well, if you can put 2 and 2 together, you can kind of assume what we're going to have to be dealing with. So, first thing is first, we get to go up to the 2nd floor. It's kind of an optional little detour. Ow. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Walter that shot me, like a dickhead. Yep, there he is. Sauntering motherfucker. Yeah, his AI gets a bit weird when you just kind of chill out in this little, outcropping. But yeah, the journey to the 2nd floor to find the room with black powder is more or less just a detour, but it can be a very helpful one. And it's not just because I love being sandwiched between 2 twin victims. Oh no, that's just yeah, that's just a fucking pain in the ass. Yeah, this, oh, there's a 3rd one. Great. Yeah, this can just kind of showcase how easily the twin victims can be just horrible to deal with in confined spaces. And as you can probably tell, well, there's really no running around them. It's kind of pointless to try to run the other direction because, well, being in a circle, we're just going to run right back into them. And here we go. We have the room with the black powder. Not actually sure what the black powder is. It's never really specified. We can assume it's bad. We also get yet another Sword of Obedience. Actually kind of coincidental that the same number of new ghosts is actually the same number of Swords of Obedience that we get. So if it struck you, you could technically pin all of the ghosts we have run into that might have caused us problems, but it's not necessary. And it's actually good to stay on your toes on the second floor if you do happen to start exploring. Because as you just saw, sometimes they happen to put twin victims right in your face and, well, you don't have a lot of time to react. Oh yeah, I was just in that room. Sorry, it's sometimes difficult to get your bearings straight when everything looks the exact same. And let's see what great treasure this final twin victim was protecting. Great. Garbage. But it's now time to go back to Eileen. Nice little jump cut there. And with, well, we actually still don't have a key. We don't actually know where DeSalvo is. We haven't run into him yet. I don't know, there's really no other place to go than, well, maybe he's waiting for us down in the basement. I mean, the basement kind of looked like it might have been an arena. And yet again, I will use my powers of having good appendages. Make my way quickly down, hopefully avoiding any kind of troubles with Walter there. And now we just, well, play the waiting game. How are things? Good. Oh. That might have been a bad thing. Actually, where is Eileen? Really doesn't look like she's coming. Probably should make sure she isn't, you know, getting murdered. Oh, great. Alright, it's time for the only way to successfully dodge Walter here, which is, well, basically just break his line of sight. There was Eileen. I don't care if you're scared, just come on. And that explains why we were hearing shooting before, I suppose, I guess. Walter doesn't really enjoy Hummers either. I mean, not that we were offering him one or anything, but yeah, if you consider the fact that, you know, a lot of the enemies and general bad things we've been dealing with are all manifestations of Walter's mind, I can only assume he's not too happy to deal with these repressed horrible things, and now that he has the power to, I'm sure he's more than happy to deal with these horrible things in his own sadistic manner. But it is now time for some fun. That's right, we're gonna pack in our silver bullet, get that ready. And, well, let's hope for the best. So we've had to deal with the long hair of Cynthia, we've had to deal with the fiery personality of stuttering Jasper, and you may be wondering, well, why take all the precautions for Mr. Sweatpants? Well, for very good reason that we will not be seeing. Needless to say, he does probably the most damage of any ghost in the game, and his attack, or his primary attack, is a bit hard to judge. He basically will barrel at you head first, and it would probably kill me. But with a tiny bit of sacrifice for our very rare item, we get a key to the generator room. And honestly, that's probably one of the best ways to use a Sword of Obedience and a Silver Bullet. But, well, you can almost consider that our first boss of the game. And you can actually be very happy you didn't see me wail on him for 6 minutes straight, much like the first time we fought Cynthia. Now, you could also take back the Sword of Obedience if you wanted to. The only problem is that for some reason, Andrew DeSalva's Ghost Aura is actually, well, about double the amount of damage that all the other Ghost Auras do. And, well, with the white toadstools and having to drag Eileen behind us, you can understand why I would want to keep him restrained. We are back in the lovely, spacious, and picturesque basement area of the water prison. There's actually a few interesting things they added down here. Yeah, Eileen, this is exactly that. I'm honestly surprised she would even know that. I mean, well, she did study archaeology, which is catch-all for history, I suppose. Yeah, we got a nice portable medkit over here, which is what I'm going to use right now, because I do want to be at full health. Not to fight these phallic things hanging from the ceiling, which I think are actually called greed worms. We saw them before in Subway World. But, well, we do actually have one more room to get through before we can finish up Water Prison. And, well, you may remember last time, this particular room actually had a very large door at the end of it. So, you know, I assume we're gonna have to fight a giant or something. Well, it's not a giant, it is mild inconvenience. You may be able to see what we have waiting for us at the end of the hall. It's 6 twin victims. And if you can believe it, you really can't fight them one at a time. When you get close enough for one to come and you begin to damage it, the others are like, holy shit, we need to go join in on that gangbang. And this fight can go one of two ways. You can either get completely murdered, or you can actually equip Eileen with her nice new weapon, and, well, the fight kind of becomes a joke. Well, that was certainly fun. And for more fun with perspective, what was once a very large door is now actually kind of small. And with that, we're actually out of the water prison. Few difficult, tough spots there, mostly due to the wonderful nature of twin victims and the fact that I guess the developers realized they had only one creepy enemy and decided to use it as much as humanly possible. Symbolism ahoy! But as we continue further down, it's definitely getting a lot murkier. Definitely a lot more strewn with bodies, so I can only assume we're actually getting fairly close to the end. If you can believe it, we only have one more world to backtrack through. And, well, then we'll only have one more update left to go. We're actually really close to the end of the game. So with that and the door here, I think it's as good a time as any to call it a video. Hopefully you'll join me next time for more Silent Hill 4: The Room.